Viewers. We went through our first part of project status report in my last video, and now we will be proceeding with the second part. And today we'll be covering the list of values, the task cap, the risks, issues, and dependencies and quality time. So we'll cover these today, and in our next part, then I will go through how these all fall into place on this main uh, status report sheet. Basically, this sheet is pulling the data from all of these different sheets from in our Excel. To start off, this is the list of values where I'm specifying some ground rules over here. So, firstly, we have mostly targeted on the statuses. So I have green, amber, red statuses which I set based on certain thresholds. And over here, I am defining those thresholds so I can apply conditions on the main sheet. So for example, I'm setting the threshold for the schedule. That what would be the off track days. So after 2 days, unless the project schedule remains, within the 2 days off track threshold, it will remain green. After it crosses that, it will fall into amber. After 5 days of off-track delays, it will remain in amber, and after five, it will move to red, and then it will remain red until it's reduced. Then the quality threshold. Quality threshold is usually when you're logging incidents or bugs while doing UAT, user acceptance tests or validation tests. And if the bugs remain at zero, so it's a very strict, threshold that I've set. So you can set this as per your needs. So you can give it a threshold of 3 or 4, whatever, based on the type of project you're doing. So in my case, I've kept it green. As soon as there's one issue reported, it will move into amber. And up to two, when bugs reported, it will remain in amber. And after that, it will move to red. Similarly, the scope or the changes that are coming up based on the testing or the client is, suggesting changes to the original project scope. This is something that we're keeping track of as well. And I've kept threshold that there are no changes, it will remain in green. And in case there are some changes reported and remains under 2, it will remain in amber, and before after that it will move to red. Then we have the risk threshold. The risks are unless there are no risk in the project, it will remain in green. And if there's one high impacting risk, so we'll see what this means once we go to the risk tab. It will move to amber, and then after that it will move to um, red. So I've set very strict thresholds for my projects, and similarly for issues, I have as long as there's only one issue, high impacting issue in the project, it will remain in green, and it will show amber if there are under 5, and after that it will show 10. So where is this information portrayed? So this is where you see these summarized, and then you have the option of putting your words to the reason as well. So all this, all these values are being pulled on based on LOVs that we're defining. So and these LOVs we'll see uh, as we move along. So we went through the LOVs tab. So that's first thing, because it's setting some thresholds for our main sheet, the main project dashboard. Now, next one is the most important sheet. This is the task. So this is where basically I'm exporting the MS project data and putting it over here. And its structure is very simple. I have defined if any task is a milestone or not. These are parameters you can select when you're exporting it from Microsoft project into Excel format. You can see my video that I recorded some time back, how you can do that. So I'll add a reference to that video in the information card. And then we have the task IDs and the task names, the duration of the project, and then I've also picked up the baseline duration. So it's very important to baseline your projects whenever you're doing them, so you know how much project timelines you're adhering to. So I picked up the baseline duration since my project was baseline twice. It was baseline one. The basic one is baseline, and then we have baseline one. So I picked up the baseline one duration, the start date, baseline start, finish date, baseline finish, percentage complete, percent complete, the status, duration variance, and that's it. So I've picked up some additional fields over here, which I'll be utilizing somewhere in the project sheet. Are the start and finish with their baselines and the percent complete. So if you see the first line is basically the overall project uh, summary. uh, so it's showing the entire project timeline, 79 days, and this is showing the percentage of the entire project. So this is the information that I'm pulling over here. You can see I am pulling it directly. So I'm showing this upfront on the overall percentage of the project, and it immediately changes based on whatever value is coming over here. So when I export it from as project, let's say next time, and it moves to 50%. So whenever I import that data over here, it will show it over here along with the graph that we have. These are task names that we have. Some of these are summary tasks, some of these are main tasks. So that's the segregation that you can also do in future. And we have durations, date, and everything. So how am I using this? We'll see as we move along. Then we have the risk sheet. So we have covered the LOVs, we have covered the task sheet. Now we'll be covering the risk sheet. So the risk sheet is basically segregated into uh, two, two parts. One is the risks that are on the customer's end, and then we have risks that are on the vendor's end. And these are further segregated into their severity levels, medium and low, and list how many risks we have. For example, I listed one risk that uh, availability is essential for proceeding with project. So we're putting it up front that this is the main risk in case this is delayed. It will impact. So this is the date when this risk was listed in this sheet, and who is the responsible party for this? So this is the customer, and what's the impact? So it's a high impact, low impact, medium impact based on the severity. So in this case, it's high impact, and then we have the status of the risk, whether it was is still open or if there's any delay, you can add details over here. The deviation from client is needed. So and also mention the target date on when are we targeting to have this risk mitigated. So you can see the count is over here, and as soon as I mark it as closed, it will go to zero. It's calculating based on the open risk. So this number is showing you the open risk in the project. So as soon as the risk is mitigated or closed, so it will go away from here. And the second risk is set to medium, so you can have multiple risks defined in the sheet based on define their severity, and it will show which party is responsible for this risk. And this information then over here in the risk tab. So as you remember, in the LOBs, we define that risk threshold is zero to remain in green. As soon as one high impacting risk, which is this one, so it won't account for medium risk, right? So in case I have threshold for one, so if I have too high impacting risk, it will move to red. So let's say just to show you guys, I change this to high. Over here, you see it changes to red because my threshold was only one high impacting risk remain in amber, and after that it will move to red. So things are changing in real. So this is the risk sheet. Then we move on to the issues list. As based on the similar concept, we have the client, we have the vendor, and then we have the severity levels, high, medium, and low. And then we have the list of issues. So these issues are listed down as you go along in any project. And usually when you start the project, this list is empty. And then we move along project, we encounter some challenges. So we list them down over here and make sure that we are giving it, keeping it as descriptive as possible. Then we mention the date when this issue was listed, who is the responsible party, what's the severity or impact on the project, and then we have the status, whether this issue is still open or is closed, what is the target date, and add any more remarks and comments you want. So for LOEs, you can see we have several, we have kept it in green for, we have kept it in green for one issue. So as soon as high impacting issue changes to two, you can see it will change over here. Sorry, I think it's higher than that. Oh yeah, it will move to amber if it's five. So this is where the issues are basically accounted for. Then we have the dependencies. So the dependencies are based on, what are the project dependencies from the client end, what are the project dependencies from the vendors. And it's showing you the statuses of each one. For example, in case this one is still in pending, you can see it's color coded over here. So we have three possible values over here in the statuses. We have pending. That means the dependency is still not completed. And we specify that this dependency is expected in the future, and then we have done, which means that this dependency has been taken care of. Let me just zoom out a bit so you can see easily. So the structure is similar. We have client, we have the vendor. Then over here, instead of severity, we have the statuses. We have pending dependencies, how many has and how many have been completed. And also the impact of this dependency. If we do not fulfill, what will be the impact on the project? So these are the dependencies in my project that I have specified. When are these dependencies, required? That means when these need to be completed, and who is the responsible party? What's the impact? What's the status? Set it to pending, and then we have uh, we have the target date. So these dates are basically in case these are the days where they were actually required, and after each project status report, you specify a date over here that okay, now for example we have a meeting, project status meeting today, and this was the client specific dependency, and we understand from the client where we stand on this. Are we able to fulfill this in time? And the client says, no, unfortunately, this will take more time. And 3rd June is the time where I can commit that this will be completed. So this is where you specify these dates. So you keep track on commitments and also add any reference over here, comment if you need be. So you can see, set the statuses as well. So these are the dependency um, which is incorporating uh, down over here. So this is where it's pulled off. So as I mentioned, each of these sheets are fulfilling some part of the main project dashboard sheet. Then we have quality sheet. This is the UAT or user acceptance test feedback. So this is where you give any application or your project for testing to the end users, and they're providing their feedback, or you're pointing out any bugs or issues in the project. So this is where you list them down. You have the list of modules. You have assign an ID over here, and we have now these are some technical modules that I've listed over here. You can define this list as well. You add the date reported, who these are assigned to, similar to this. Then we have priority, we have the status, we have the target data and comments. So the structure of this is the same, and this drives the you know um, the scope part of it. So if there are any quality issues that which are not being addressed correctly or are resulting in changes, so this is where it will populate this part. So uh, this was our video for today to cover these main tabs: LOEs, tasks, risk, issues, dependencies, and qualities. I'm trying to keep the video simple, so it's not too much information in one video. So uh, I want you all to, get a better understanding of how this, sheet came to be. So in our next video, we'll try to see what areas are populated. One more thing that I'll cover in this video is this section. I've covered about some extent. So as I already explained, these are pulled from the LOEs sheet. So based on the list, the schedule, baseline references, it pulls the information and then matches it with the LOEs. And so this section is basically driven from the LOEs, and the schedule part is pulling the data from this sheet. Scope part is from the quality sheet, risk from the risk sheet, and issues from the issues sheet. Then we have the project schedule breakup. So I'll cover this one briefly because it ties down to the task sheet. So what's happening over here is, instead of listing out all project tasks that are listed over here, what I've done is I have listed some main of the key project tasks that I feel are necessary for any stakeholder to understand when did we kick off. So we have this drop down is showing you all the project tasks that are there. So you can choose any one of them. So I can say choose this one. So it will immediately change the details that are adjacent to it. So what information I have included is the task name and start date. This was the baseline start, right? In our task sheet. Then we have the actual start date. This is where we have the normal start date in our task sheet over here. So one is the baseline start, then we have this uh, actual start date, then we're picking up the progress directly based on the task name. So I've used the lookup over here. You can see my video VLOOKUP that I did earlier in Excel. So I'm utilizing the formula over here and picking up the progress percentage. This is actually picking up from here. So whatever data MS project has exported based on the percent complete, I will be showing you over here. Then we have the planned finish date. This is again the baseline finish, and this is the actual finish date. And based on differences, I calculate the rank status. So rank status is basically red and the green status of this particular task. So as per my threshold set over here, so again this threshold is coming to be. So I have set this threshold over here. So over here it's calculating, okay, if the finish days, are the planned finish days and actual finish days are have a lag of 1 day or 2 days, then it will remain in green and it will move to amber and red based on their changes in day. So similarly, you can see all of these. You see that some of them are 80%, some of them are 0%. So this is the real-time depiction of the project task, and I can choose any task over here. For example, as I chose earlier, so this is one of the tasks that I hold, and it's starts showing the information. It depends on which are the key areas of the project that you want to show your stakeholders, so you can easily select. And you can also add new over here and just copy the entire row and paste it over here. It will copy all the formula and everything. So this was the main objective of today's video. To, showcase the main sheets that drive our project dashboard and cover the project health card and other project schedule related areas of our project dashboard. So until our next video, keep in touch, keep viewing the video, and it's always good to like a video if you find it informative. So please don't hesitate to, click on the like button. And I would really like you to, for viewing this and not subscribe to this channel so you are aware whenever the next part is coming, and you can notify for this through the bell icon. And our next video will cover, the next section of our project dashboard. We'll see all the tasks in progress upload and everything. And once we move on to the top five items, these are the most interesting and complex part of the sheet. Once we get there, you'll see. So stay tuned for part 3. Until next video, take care and bye bye.